So, Jesus, Moses, and an elderly man were playing golf. Moses comes up, and he hits the ball, goes right in the water. So Moses parts the water, and the ball makes its way to the green. It's pretty fascinating. So then Jesus gets up, and he hits the ball right in the water. So Jesus goes right into prayer, holds his hands together, and it just makes the water come to a place of stillness that the ball kind of skimmers across the water and goes on the green. So then the elderly guy, he comes up and he hits the ball, just like the other two, it goes in the water. But he takes a moment and he looks around, and all of a sudden what happens is a fish grabs hold of the ball. An eagle flies down, picks up the fish, takes it up, a bolt of lightning comes through the sky, and all of a sudden the fish falls down right on the green, shocked by it all, opens its mouth, and the ball goes right in, hole in one. I was very happy you were able to follow that at 9:30. You know, that was a lot to handle. Like that early in the morning. Right? So Jesus, what happens is he then looks at Moses and he said, I'm not bringing Father next time. And you know, through the years of my own dysfunction, and I own it, and my own level of woundology or lack of understanding growing up, there were many times that I decided I was going to go through life and leave my father behind. Actually, there were many times I thought the further I could move away, the better that life would be. And then I came to this tremendous realization that there would never be a true way for me to know my own inner gifts in life until I made peace with the Father who gave me life. Do you resonate with that? For that is part of how we shift, and it's what I said on Mother's Day as well. That for you to really integrate, for me to really integrate as a spiritual being is for us to understand the value of the individuals that gave us life. For us to recognize for what they did and what they did not do is what shaped us to be who we are. But here's the interesting thing about it. To really get the gifts, we have to accept that they were the ones we chose, and they were the people that did the best they could with what they had and with what they knew, and then we're able to really receive the goodness. My father has been gone since 2002. He died, and he checks in with me more now than probably we did back when I was growing up. I don't blame him for that, I gotta say. But all that aside, he becomes more my hero every day. Every day. For the gifts, for the teaching, for the example of what I learned how to be and of what I learned in how not to be. Do you resonate? And here's the deeper part of it. It is essential as spiritual beings for us to be those wandered children that are looking around for the miracles all the time. It is so necessary that we make peace with our parents. What did I say it's necessary to do? Some of you are going like this, or you're going. Why is it necessary? Because according to the law of cause and effect, until we make peace with our parents, we attract people in our lives that will parent us. We might be married to them, we might move them in and move them out and get somebody new that's cuter. We might go to work and there they are there. We might have an office manager that's there. But until we make peace with that, and that is the part of the great revelation, is when you grow out enough in your own consciousness that you realize that you are a grown up, growing out in spirit, immersed in a consciousness of possibilities, and you don't need to have anybody anymore parent you. Amen? Amen? You can just be in that space. But that's just one level of it, as we talk about the Father's house. I am here every week dedicated to the unity principles as much as I know I possibly can be, because I'm more interested in the relationship that you have with the other Father, the creator of your life. Your Father on earth is your birth story, your creation story. Who you are going to be stepping more and more into is the presence and power of God that gave you life, that creator that thought enough of you to create you. So you would think enough of yourself, and I would think enough of myself to allow ourselves to be created. Does this work for you?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just being sure because I still have a few more minutes if you want me to go in the direction. And so when we look at that, and we say often, as Douglas said in his reading too, that we are here because this work proves itself. It proves itself by the way that we live. And whether you honor Buddha, Martin Luther King Jr., Jesus, Mother Teresa, or the day-to-day teachings of Jesus, it's very clear in the Bible when people are asking Jesus, how do you do it? Like people ask you that sometimes, right? How do you keep having great things happen to you? Do people ask you that? Two here in the front. Okay, well, we want to change that, okay? We want more people asking you, how do you do that? How does it happen, right? And so in that space, when people went, God, Jesus, you're doing all these amazing things, what is the secret code? I mean, what is this? Can you imagine now how many CDs and tapes and books he would sell? He said, it's basically very simple, people. You just have to know how to pray. And in our teaching, you just have to know how to think. You just have to know how to connect to a power that's greater than you are, because at the level of your problem is the level on which you're standing. So if you want to outgrow that concern, that thing that has the appearance of working against you, apparently and obviously for all of us, we're going to have to draw from another level that we don't have yet. Would you agree with that? Yes. So it's a power that's greater than we are, and it's longing for us to open up our heart, give and receive love, and allow it to immerse itself through us so that we can stand tall in the midst of any tragedy or any upset, because we're drawing from a wellspring that's infinite. Yes? He said, here's how you pray. And then he went on to tell us. I mean, we don't even have to keep asking the question. He said, here's how you do it. Please join me if you know it. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory. How long? Forever. How long? Forever. That's why we love our teaching. We love the tools that are provided to all of us, because once we get it, once that light goes on, once we have that epiphany, that aha moment, we spend the rest of our lives in our knowing and in our awareness. Because why? We are awake. We can't go back to sleep. We can't go back to blaming others. We can't fault find and triangulate and gossip and talk small, because we are now vibrating at a much higher vibration. I love the fact of how Jesus prefaced that, and I know there's many different interpretations, but a story is the story at the end of the day that you tell yourself. Right? So the story that I tell myself is, I'm so grateful that in the very beginning he said, it's our Father. It's our God. He didn't say, you know what, I've gone to some classes you haven't gone to. I've stepped into a little bit more grace than you have, and there's my Father, there's my kingdom, and I wish you well. No. It's ours. What does someone mean when they say it's ours? When somebody loves you and they go, oh honey, it's ours. What do you take that to mean? In participation? I'm back. Participating. I'm trying. Help me. What does it mean when somebody says it's ours? That means it belongs to you, right? It means it's just as much yours as the other our person. It's ours, meaning in all seriousness that whatever he was able to do with that Christ consciousness, we're able to do because we are on equal playing field. Wow, take a breath. And that's why he would go on and say, great things have I done, greater things shall ye also do. That's the point, is for us to move that energy to learn how to practice in the midst of anything going on, being in the world, but not of the world, and holding that higher vibration. Wow. And in that space, being open to what is ours. And when it says, forgive us of our debts, we're not talking financial debt, though that is an effect if we haven't forgiven ourselves of our original debt. And you know what our original debt is? Are you interested in knowing? Yes. Because we did not hear the first part, that we are hallowed. Hallowed be your name. That's Sandy. That's Alice. That's Andy. That's Bob. That's every person here. You are hallowed in the name of the Great Spirit. You have the capacity within you, as anyone else, to achieve anything within your own ability to give and receive love. We are all in this together, but we are all hallowed. And we forgive ourselves our debt in that we have not gotten that yet. We are still longing to get that reality in a much greater way of how possible it is to continue to have this incredible life. To know that we can move mountains. Like the movie, The Little Boy. Did you see that?
Yes.
Great assignment. Go watch it. It's amazing of what has the capacity within us to change. We forgive our debt. We forgive the fact that we forgot that we are saying, give us this day. That today, the only thing that labels us, the only thing that limits us, the only thing that holds us back is the thing that we decide to bring from yesterday and put on today's chalkboard.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So with this day, this empty slate that's been given to you, June 19th, 2016, and to me, what do we hold? So that we have this awareness that we may use it forever. You know, I've been following a young man for a number of years now. I love being of the age that I can refer to people as young man. And I'm really not being facetious, I do like it. But I've been following this young man. He is a great dad, has 2 wonderful children, beloved wife. He's a great minister, and I couldn't be more pleased that he's now a minister with us, Reverend Dean Randolph.
So, I met my Jenny when we were teenagers. We met in the Youth of Unity. She walked into church and I knew, like you just know. And we have been side by side ever since. We just celebrated our 22nd wedding anniversary. I appreciate that applause. Really, it ought to be for her. I have the easy job. But, you know, that's kind of how we do things in our family. We just know, we just go. That's just kind of the deal. And when I think about it, I realize that's kind of how Unity people do things anyway. We don't know how it's going to go. We just show up, and there it is. Because one of the things that we celebrate is that God has a bigger idea. Unity people are kind of jump in the deep end kind of people, and I love that. And knowing that about us, knowing that about how life tends to work, I suppose I shouldn't have been surprised when we were still very, very young. I was 20. We were engaged, but not married, working on it. And Jana came to me and she said, guess what? You're going to be a dad. Now, I'm a good unity person, so of course I said, let's not affirm it. I was scared. I was a kid. I didn't know. But the thing I did know is that God knows. The thing that taught me is the thing that we often get taught, and that is that God has a better idea. The thing that I was reminded of in that moment is that prayer has a lot less to do with knowing the exact words and what we affirm and what we don't affirm. Prayer has a lot less to do with that and a lot more to do with a heart readiness. You get what you're ready for no matter what you say. What do you got going on in here? What are you ready for? And apparently, I was ready for big things. So my babies had to happen. And I know that now. And I've been reminded of that in so many wonderful ways. But at the moment, I didn't want to affirm it because at the moment, I was scared. Like I said, I was a kid. And I had this idea that there was going to be a meeting. And that at that meeting, someone would tell me what it meant to be grown up. There'd be a rule book, there'd be a secret handshake, something would happen. There'd be a transfer of knowledge, maybe some paperwork, I'm open to that. That someone would tell me what it meant to be an adult, what it meant to be a husband, what it meant to be a man, what it meant to do, all of that kind of grown-up kind of stuff. I'm 42 now, that meeting has still not happened. Check your programs. But, can you blame me? It's hard to figure out how to be a man. It's hard to figure out how to be a dad. I'm aware that a huge hunk of human history, men have not always done great. And I don't want to fit into that stereotype, and yet I also want to do it right, quote unquote right. So where do you look? I mean, we don't have great examples on television. But Homer Simpson? Peter Griffin? Come on, if you look at television, the dads on commercials and television are the ones who are going to blow the house up. Who are about to do unspeakable things to the kitchen counters. Watch your commercials. And so where do you look? This is the thing. And when I think about that struggle, that challenge, when I think about that process, I think about someone who I have been observing for a very long time as he works on his grown-up stuff too. He's one of my favorite preachers, this guy named Jay Baker. Now I bet you know that name. Remember Jim and Tammy Baker? Their kid. And it just so happens that Jay Baker is my age. And yes, our theology differs. Yes, he's got a few more tattoos than I do. But we're working on some of the same stuff. Some of the stuff about, well, how do you do this church thing in the 21st century? How do you deal with being a preacher's kid? Do you remember that moment when you were younger and you thought for sure that your folks were nuts? That's all right. That's part of growing up. Imagine having that moment, but also having a whole congregation full of people that say, your folks are just so wonderful. Think about what that does to your head. It's a wonderful opportunity. But you can choose to take things literally. You can choose to look at things through what they appear to be, or you can choose to look a little bit deeper. And I was thinking about that, and I remembered something that Jay Baker said, and I asked him if I could quote him, and he said yes. He's talking about the Bible, and he says, the Bible is a collection of books. Like a library. Can you imagine walking into a library and saying, I am going to take all of these books literally now? How's that going to work out for you? He said, there's only two people that take the Bible literally. Fundamentalists and atheists. Think about that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Everybody else knows that there is meaning there that you bring to it. Just like life, there is meaning there that you bring to it. Yes, we can have our teachers and our examples out there in the world or in the scriptures. But how you read it says a lot more about what you got going on the inside. Yes, it's true that there are some people that read the scriptures and reinforce this idea of a distant, angry God, an absentee landlord kind of God, somebody who isn't looking and doesn't like what he might see if he was looking. And I get that. You don't get that here. But I understand that because, for one thing, it's a great cop-out. Think about it. Why are things so bad? Why is my life going this way? Well, it's because God's not looking. What a great cop-out. And for so long, so many people have been doing the theology of just you wait till your father comes home. And people wait. And yet, there's more to the story. The hero of my story is the one who says, wait a minute, God's not somewhere else, thy kingdom come. God's not somewhere else, the kingdom of heaven is in your midst. No more waiting. God's here. So maybe we need to look at that idea a little bit differently. After all, that same person, when he talks about God, he doesn't say, Father, with all of that formality. He says, Abba. And it wasn't just because he was a fan of Swedish disco. I mean, who isn't? But because Abba, as you probably know, Abba, as you probably know, means daddy. It means papa. It's a baby talk word, Abba. And the idea that we get from that is one complete lack of formality. It's the feeling that you feel when someone places a newborn baby in your arms. I know that feeling. Ah. And you know as well as I do that babies aren't born knowing how to hate and fear. Babies aren't born knowing how to prejudge and make distinctions and separation. Babies aren't born worrying about the mortgage. Think about that. And Abba is a word that says no distance, no formality, just right here. Abba is proof that you start out good. And sometimes that's the thing that people have trouble with. I don't believe that I started out good because of all these things that I see in the news. Tell me how I could possibly believe that things are okay, that I am okay. And I say, think about this. No matter what you've been through, you know what love looks like. Even if you've not experienced it in your own life, you have an idea about it. Where'd that idea come from? I don't know what kind of relationship you had with your earthly, biological father. I don't know. And on behalf of all dads everywhere, if it's been a rough one, I say I'm sorry. We're working on it. We're doing our best. But you know what? One way or the other, no matter how bumpy the road has been, it has brought you to right here. So thank you, God. Here is a time of change. Here is a time of revolution. Here is a time of new ideas and new birth. But no matter what you have experienced in the outer, you have an idea of what that perfect loving parent might be, don't you? What that perfect loving creator might be. You didn't get it from Homer Simpson. There is something in you that knows better. There is love in you that knows better. You know how to nurture. You know how to love. You know how to show the world that it's okay. That's what all of those paradigms of fatherhood do, whether it's John the Baptist or Jesus Christ or Dumbledore or Obi-Wan Kenobi. It doesn't matter. That spirit is one and the same. The spirit that says, flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but your Father in heaven. The spirit that says, you're a wizard, Harry. The spirit that says, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, trust your feelings. I don't know how it's going to look on the outside. I just know that it's going to be okay on the inside. That's what dads do. I'm a dad. I don't know how it's going to work. That's my wife's job. All I know is it's going to be all right. The best compliment I ever received, I think, is when my little girl was like 3 and she said, my daddy can fix anything with the right tools. Now, that's probably not true, but I'll take it. Because the idea is, you know what, I don't know how it's going to go. I just know that it's going to go. It's going to be all right. Come here, let's fix it. That's the model of fatherhood. That's how this works. That's the daddy energy. I don't know how it's going to go, but it's going to be all right because here we are. That's how you're loved. No matter what your experience has been, I'm here to tell you that's how you're loved. But being loved that way is only part of the equation. Jesus said, they who have seen me have seen the Father. In other words, take that love, take care of somebody else. Show the world what it looks like. That just says, bring it in. Come on. Let's just fix it. Let's just love through it. Let's just make it okay. Because I love you. And let's love each other. I don't know where you've been, but let's set that free. Because, after all, freedom is a choice. Thank you.
Have we been blessed or what?